Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Andrew Chabot. I am the Program Manager for Workforce Development. I'm joined with Tamika Jacques, Director of Workforce Development here at the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. We're pleased to discuss with you today the Clean Energy Activity Day held in 2017 to give you more information about this solicitation so you can learn more and apply to us by our deadline of December 2nd. We'll be running through just an overview of the RFP to describe some of the components of that. I would just please ask if you please hold your questions until the end. You can ask it throughout the webinar. You can just type it in the dialog box, but we will be answering at the conclusion and just going through everyone's questions at that time. Massachusetts Clean Energy Center, or MassCEC, was created by the Green Jobs Act of 2008. We're dedicated to accelerating the success of clean energy technologies in the state of Massachusetts, and since 2009, we've helped clean energy companies grow. We've supported various different projects and programs through various different channels throughout the residential and commercial and industrial sector. Our main goals are to accelerate clean energy technologies, companies and projects, create high-quality jobs, and invest in residential and commercial renewable energy installations, and also to cultivate a robust marketplace for innovation. In workforce development, we focus on as many of these components as possible. This particular solicitation will focus more on individuals who are in the K through 4 age range, and then also grades 5 through 8. So we've heard feedback from employers more and more that we need to engage students and individuals at a younger age to get them interested in clean energy, and this is an endeavor to do so. And with that, I will turn it over to Tamika, who will kind of walk through the solicitation, and we'll get to your questions at the end.
Great, thank you, Andrew. If you can just, so basically just to give you a little snapshot of who our industry is, if you look at this slide, you will see that we have about 6,400 employers in Massachusetts. We are #1 in rank per capita early stage investment. And what that all means basically is that we have a thriving clean energy economy in Massachusetts. And so we have almost 99,000 jobs, and actually it's going to be probably a little bigger when our 2016 report comes out next month. So we have a robust economy, and it really is our job as workforce development professionals to make sure that, you know, we are providing that pipeline for the clean energy economy. And starting with, you know, the younger generation, we have invested in high schools across Massachusetts doing some programming with them, but we feel like it's really time that we start to invest in the younger generation, because as you already know, the younger that you can get their interest peaked, the younger that you can give them some hands-on learning, that's when, you know, they will think about it through junior high school, and then, you know, hopefully eventually going into a STEM major in college and pursuing a STEM career. And, you know, there are many different facets of clean energy, so they can have many different tracks in clean energy. It's not just one. They could be working in solar for a couple of years. They could be working in water for a couple of years. So we just wanted to show that, you know, in Massachusetts, we do have a robust economy, and we're pretty proud of that. So this just really solidifies why a program like this is necessary. So I just picked out two pieces that came from our 2015 Clean Energy Report, and it really ties in because some of the things that were into the RFP. 22.5% of the new clean energy hires over the past 12 months were women, compared to 48% of women that are hired in the overall Massachusetts economy. And this number just really stood out to us. As you'll see referenced in the RFP, we definitely want to make sure that young women of the next generation are participating in this Clean Energy Activity Day, because as you can see, if only 22% of new hires were women, then we know who the rest of the new hires were. And we want to make sure that really that this industry is an equal, you know, opportunity industry, that it's very inclusive of males and females. And so, you know, there is some reference to this in the RFP. And basically, why you'll see in the RFP why we say it has to be a hands-on learning activity, because gaining that hands-on learning activity really starts your experience of wanting to work in this industry, of wanting to get your hands involved in learning more. And so, in 2015, experience was really more important to manufacturers, sales, distribution, clean energy firms, because, they didn't want someone that didn't have any experience per se, or only came out with an academic degree. It really mattered to them to have experience. And this is a great starting way of someone to really have experience and get that hands-on experience. And imagine, when you're a senior in high school saying, I remember learning about clean energy in 3rd grade or 4th grade or 5th grade. This is what I touched. We had an opportunity to really learn water and touch it and see how it generated energy. So that's really why this program is created, and this is a pilot program. This is our first time doing something like this. So basically, just to continue on, the goal is really, while there may be other sub-goals, but really it's to expose Massachusetts students in kindergarten through 8th grade to clean energy concepts, career pathways, and higher education pathways through a one-day educational event. And we're saying that one day really is 3 hours. And we want the event to be able to showcase clean energy STEM topics and really make students aware of the higher education opportunities, STEM camps, and other similar resources for students, because a lot of times, when someone gets to their junior or their senior year, they'll say, well, I didn't know about that program when I was a freshman, or I didn't know I could do that in 8th grade. And so this is a great opportunity to bring some resources to them, and in some cases to their parents. At least they're having the awareness of, oh, there is a STEM camp, located in Boston, or there is a STEM camp located down the Cape, and really seeking how to get into those programs. So basically, the RFP does have standard requirements, and we're going to start with the standard requirements, and then later on, we will go into what track 1 and what track 2 means. But basically, the standard requirements for track 1 and 2 is that this has to be a one-day, minimum 3-hour event at the student's school with a specialized clean energy activity day event to take place any day if you're doing track 1, or on a Saturday for track 2. That provides a hands-on learning opportunity for students either at the student's current place of education or a clean energy business or organization. And the way that we're dividing this into 2 groups, because the way someone in kindergarten learns is very different from someone learning in 8th grade. So you either choose kindergarten to 4th grade, who would you like to educate, or it could just be a group of 3rd graders or a group of 4th graders. But we just want to make sure that if you are choosing to mix up the grades, that you are sticking with the appropriate age level. So the same thing for 5th grade to 8th grade. You can choose to do just 6th graders or just 7th graders. But if you have a program that you want to invite, all grades, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, then it just has to be matched that way. So again, another requirement is to partner with a clean energy business. And when we say partner, we mean that you are going to invite a clean energy business to come and speak about what they're currently doing. And just, your students more than what we would know. And I think it's important just when you talk to the speaker to really remind them, you're speaking with kindergarten, you're not speaking with adults. And so it needs to be creative, it needs to be fun. And as it says here, ideally the employer will create a hands-on learning experience for participating students. So it would be great if the employer would also stay for the activity. So if you find someone that is, going to talk about what they do in wind, and then your group would be to order wind kits for all the students, ideally you would want that person to come and do a wind demonstration of how it works with the students. So it's not a requirement that your employer stay and do an activity. It's just a nice added bonus because, they're in it. So they should be able to really explain it. And also sometimes, your teachers might not know, about wind. So this is an opportunity for them to also learn with the students. And another standard requirement is that you develop an applicant team. So what you're saying to Mass DEC is, as you write your proposal, is that we are going to have a program coordinator that's located directly from the school. And this person is going to serve as the main contact, organizes the planning hours to plan and execute the activity. Along with a program coordinator, you're having 2 additional team members who are either located in the school or someone that may be a higher education partner if you want them to work with you, or it could be a business partner. And part of the RFP is that you are able to pay the coordinator a stipend, or if you work at a school that has, certain union qualifications, then you would pay them what that wage is, or however it is for your school. So you are able to, who's ever planning this day is able to get additional funding so that they really can dedicate their time to this program. And again, when you're asking the clean energy business, might just say, can you donate your time? You can pay them, but most people on our list that we provided in the RFP, we didn't tell them they were going to have a stipend. We said, would you volunteer your time? And we'll talk a little bit about that. And I just want to say that about this proposal, it's not meant to, be the hardest proposal that you've ever had to write in to get funding. We just want everything completed. So basically, you're going to say who you picked as your program coordinator, why. You're going to give a few credentials. And again, when you submit a proposal, it really should be no longer than 6 pages. Again, a standard requirement, as we spoke about, is to have 2 speakers from a clean energy business that can communicate the concepts. Again, just as a reminder, business speakers should really be able to provide an engaging story of their career and explain their work in clean energy and how it relates to what the students are currently doing. Okay, so, addition, subtraction, multiplication, simple concepts that can be easily transferred to what's happening in the clean energy industry. And again, we have a list. We've asked people that would want to partner with a high school, but this is not an exhaustive list. So if you already know clean energy employers in your region, feel free to ask them. We just wanted to provide a few names of someone that could help you. So, for example, if you're in Lowell on page 9, there's David Willis from Kid Wind, and he's a professor, and he already has a curriculum in place to do wind with younger students with the K through 8 system. So, if that's something that interests you, you can reach out to him and say, you were on the Mass DEC list. How can we, have you come in for a day and really explain it to the students? And he's very familiar with Kid Wind. So that's just how that works. But again, you can go out and find your own business. And this really is the bulk, probably, of the day, is doing that hands-on learning activity that really shows some sort of equipment or model of what the industry is working on. And again, as you're using the equipment or the model, the facilitator really should be able to use the model or the equipment and really be able to explain it in a kindergarten terminology, should I say. So even if you're in 8th grade, it really should be on a lower level so that it's not, overwhelming them with new concept that they never heard of. It should really be broken down onto an 8th grade level. And here's some as you're writing to tell us what you're going to do, we just have some options. You're going to choose one of these options. So you, the applicant, are writing in, and you're either going to purchase equipment models so that students will construct the models during this clean energy activity day, and they'll take their equipment home, and they're done. That's it. They've had their clean energy day, and you've said, that's great, you constructed it, now you can take it home. That might work for some schools. Option 2 might work for some schools. The applicant will purchase equipment, and the students will construct the equipment during Clean Energy Day, and students will not be allowed to take home the equipment. And the equipment is used for another Clean Energy Day or another lesson plan at the school. So you're saying, you know what, we really need this equipment to stay here So they'll be able to play with it and touch it, and then they'll come back again and they can do the same at another class, but we just don't want to let these models go. We want to use them again. And then another option that you could pick is you're going to purchase equipment. Students will, construct it during the Clean Energy Day. They'll take home the equipment, and then also additional models will be purchased to be kept at the school, separate from the students that did not participate. They'll have an opportunity to do it, at another time. So we want you to let us know what option you are choosing. Are you choosing option 1? Are you choosing option 2? And are you choosing option 3? And this just gives us the ability to see who's keeping equipment, who's taking it home, so we can kind of measure how many students took it home, maybe a parent or a sister saw it. So there's no right answer. Option 1, 2, 3, there's no right answer. It's what's best for your school, what's best for your students. But we want to be able to say that 30 students at school A took it home, or 30 students at school B, now that 30 has turned into 120 students seeing the equipment because it was left at the school. So again, that's up to you. There's no set option. And again, you really want the activity to kind of match what they're teaching right now, if there's any way to match it. And if you're saying that you have 8th graders and you found a business that would love to have them at the business for 3 hours and they're able to see some equipment or, touch it, you need to factor that in your budget as far as transportation costs. And then another standard requirement is every student must take home a gift bag or a swag bag at the conclusion of the activities. And I gave an example. You can see down the bottom. It doesn't have to look like this. It can just be a plastic bag. But here's some ideas that we want the student to leave out with. We don't want the student just to have equipment in their hand. We want them to be able to take it home, look at it, or a parent look at it. So here's some ideas that you can put in your bag. So when you're writing into Mass CEC, you can put in information on the local university that's near you or a community college, and just put a mission brochure in if they have a STEM program. You can also put information on private or public STEM camps, regional or statewide. So if you're in Boston, you can put in a STEM camp that's on from the western side of the state as well, or a listing of STEM camps. Information on museums that have clean energy STEM exhibits or libraries that have STEM learning. So again, you can put in information on the Boston Children's Museum. They have a lot of science in their exhibits. You could do that. Information on the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center, that will be provided by Mass CEC. That's a requirement so that students know who Mass CEC is. And optional items that you can throw in a bag would be pens with name of, a clean energy company that might want to put some pens in there, notebooks, maybe, with the day on there, and other take-home giveaways or prizes. And one thing that this is, part of your budget could be to, give away different prizes throughout the day. So I think in one example in the RFP, if you were doing something with the parents, you would give away a $25 gift card to Stop and Shop if you were doing one of the Saturday programs. So these are just things to think about as you're doing prizes. But again, every student must leave with something that they can physically carry besides if you're doing equipment. But we want them to go home with more information than what they started the day with. And the next standard requirement is outreach and public safety. And basically we just want to know a paragraph about how you plan on publicizing this activity day. And it can be short because Mass CEC will guide you on this. If you are awarded, you'll have to participate in a conference call with our Director of Communications here, and she will guide you through the process of what could happen. And so, how do you publicize your events? Do you send out an email? Do you have a newsletter to parents? And then, so talk a little bit about that, and then be willing to host a local or state official that could visit that day because of our own press that we do here. and a willingness to communicate that participation in the event with the event promotion schedule, a calendar in coordination with Mass CEC, because you're going to pick your day, and then we're going to work it out with you how we're going to promote that day. And basically, as I mentioned, participate in a conference call with Mass CEC, which would give further instructions, as well as just give a little description of the event space that you're going to hold it in. So if it's in an auditorium, if it's in a classroom, we definitely would like to know that. And so let's just talk about the requirements. So the previous slides were all standard requirements that happen whether you choose track 1 or you choose track 2. You need to decide which track you are going to pick. Track 1, the maximum amount to apply for funding is $8,000, and the Clean Energy Activity event happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, any weekday. And it is for students only, meaning that you're not inviting the parents, you're not, it's not for the general public. If you choose track 2, it's $10,000 maximum amount. The event happens on a Saturday only, and it is for students and parents. So as you can see, the only difference really is the funding amount that you can apply for, the day that you do it on, and if you're including students or students with their parents. So that, again, there's no right answer here. It really is based on your community, your school. What do you feel that, how do you feel they would come out? How would this happen on a weekday? Or is it more responsive for people to do it on a Saturday? And again, that's something that you need to decide. And with that in mind, because this is a pilot program, we've set aside funding for up to 10 up to 10 elementary schools. And so based on that, depending on, who wants to apply for the track 1 or the track 2, our goal is to fund up to 10 programs. And just saying that, when you're doing your budget, which we're going to talk about the next slide, when you're doing your budget, just think that, a reminder that this really is to educate our students. And so, while we do allow you to have an activity that can give students lunch as well, or a snack, or, pizza for participating, or, an ice cream party, whatever you decide, we do not want that to go over $1,000, because if that's the case, then you're putting more into food than you are a program. And again, so food can be no more than $1,000, and event costs can include planning hours for the program coordinator, stipends for the business speakers, stipends for the other 2 team members, field trip expenses, buses and operational costs, prizes. So we necessarily don't, we don't have a limit on what you decide to do. Just on the food budget, it cannot go over $1,000. And I should say that in the RFP, before we talk about the budget, it does mention the numbers that you need to shoot for your target as far as numbers of the number of students to be there as well. So I just want to show you this budget, and this is in the RFP as well, but it just breaks down of what a high school might apply for. So this is looking at this elementary school will be applying for up to the track 1, and they have hours in here for a program coordinator. They have hours in here for a team member, 2 team members. They're showing that they would be giving the business speaker a stipend, the business speaker 1 and 2. They have a facilitator who they needed to bring in to kind of teach this, to teach about wind. And so that is basically paid for. And then they wanted to order wind turbine science kits, and it was $40 per kit. And their goal was 125 students, and it came out to $5,000. And so then you had promotional gift bags, and then the material that might need to make copies or whatever it is to go in those gift bags, and then the pizza, the best part of the day, I guess somebody might say, is pizza and ice cream, is designated for $400. So that's just, gives a little run through of what a budget might look like. And again, it's really based on your needs, and you really know your needs more than what we do. Who's eligible? All Massachusetts private and public elementary and middle schools that have students in kindergarten through 8th grade are eligible to apply to this RFP. We really want the school to take ownership of this. So on this RFP, you cannot contract it out for someone else to do for you. It really has to be that the school is taking the lead, someone in the school is taking the lead on this. Just some important dates to keep in mind. The application is due December 2nd, 4 p.m. The RFP gives you instructions on what needs to be done to email that in, and my email address is listed here. And we hope to get the applications in on December 2nd, and in early January, we will let schools know if they've been awarded. And if there are any questions, this is my email address that you can ask questions. If it's too much in the weeds, we really can't answer, questions, but general questions we definitely can help on. And this webinar is going to be posted on our website, so you will be able to hear this webinar, and if anyone has any questions, they will be posted on our website as well. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions to see if anything that I said needs to be addressed. If you need clarification of some standard requirements that I listed in this RFP, we will leave it open for the next 5-7 minutes.
Great. Thanks, Tamika. And so one quick thing to add about the questions is all questions that are submitted to us will be posted online. The deadline for submitting written questions to us is October 24th. They'll be posted online on our website October 28th. And a link to that website, along with the recording of this webinar, will be going out in an email to all attendees and people who aren't able to make it for today. So the first question we have, we'll go through these in the order we received them. If we don't get to you, we will post it with the questions online. First question is, can multiple schools within the same district participate?
Yes. The answer to that question is yes, multiple schools within the same district can participate. So if your school district has 6 elementary schools, you are allowed to submit 6 applications from your district.
Great, great. Next question, is profiling one type of clean energy during the activity day preferred over others? I guess, is there any preference for clean energy technology?
Yeah, I mean, there's no preference, and if you wanted to do more than one technology, you just have to find the time to do it if that's something that allows for you. I don't know if kindergartners have the attention span to handle 2 kinds of technologies, whereas 8th graders, they probably could handle 2 technologies. So, absolutely.
Oh, it looks like we just had a follow-up question to that. Can the clean energy focus be electric vehicles? Yeah, I'd say so. That makes sense. I mean, we've seen a lot of electric vehicles and storage technology on the rise, so that's absolutely something students should get involved in. Okay, going down the list, will MassCEC be available to help consult on how to successfully hold the event?
Yes, MassCEC will guide you. Once you're awarded, we will guide each of you. As I said, you need to be on a conference call. We'll schedule that, but everyone will be allowed. We will guide everyone.
Great.
On that.
Great. Can we recruit other teachers from other schools to work on a Saturday for track 2? Or I guess it does have to be the teachers from that school.
You can recruit other teachers to be part of it. You just can't recruit other students. So if you were going to hire a teacher that you know is a specialty in wind, and she's at another school and you want to hire her to come over to teach your students, absolutely.
And that same person had a follow-up question. Is there a maximum student number we can include for the event?
No, just a minimum.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So can the weekday program happen in the late afternoon after the school day ends? Or I guess, does it have to happen during school hours, or can it happen in the late afternoon?
Yeah, I think for this one we're trying to do it during the day, because unless you can guarantee that you are going to get minimum 100 students to stay after school, I think the preference would be to do during the day. But if you can give a good reason why this program should happen after school and that you are going to guarantee that you are going to get the minimum number of students, I think we'd be open to look at that.
Great, great. What would be a good example of a prize to give away to students during the event?
So, I think students like I don't know what's been, I mean, that's a hard question, but I can't, students like to shop, so a $10 gift card to, maybe Target or, some notebooks or pencils or something like that students need, a dictionary. They might not find that too fun, but
maybe some energy efficient light bulbs.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Great. Can the clean energy focus be energy efficiency?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Energy efficiency is one of the major subjects we deal with, so that would be excellent. Are there any external institutions we should partner with on this event or be aware of?
We didn't list any institutions, I'm just thinking higher education institutions, but, again, we have a list of businesses, and I did mention that UMass Lowell, David Willis, is more than, he would love to come to a school and share some of his technology and information, so.
And perhaps some institutions like the Boston Children's Museum might be interested, but you never know.
Right.
So I guess it just, falls on the schools to kind of see who would like to participate and get those partners involved. Great, so that's all the questions we have right now. If there's any other questions, please, you can send them in right now. Or if you think of them after the webinar ends, we will be able, just please email it to Tamika or myself, and we will be able to answer those and post them on our website on the 28th. And yeah, with that, it seems like everyone's asked their questions. Please feel free to continue the conversation with us until the 28th, and then we will again be accepting the applications up until our deadline on December 2nd. And we just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for giving the time to listen in on this webinar.
And just one more thing that I think I didn't mention. If you are going to apply, it's great to get a letter of intent. I think that's in the RFP, but just as a reminder, it's great to know that who's going to be out there applying.
Right, that does help us significantly, so please do send that in.
Sure.
Great, and so with that, thanks again, everybody, and we will look forward to receiving your applications December 2nd. Thanks.